The year of 2010 introduced a game to us that will go on to be considered one of the greatest of all time, Red Dead Redemption. Players stepped into the boots of John Marston as he sought down to track his former gang members in a bid to save his family. Although it stood as a predecessor to the unmatchable Red Dead Redemption 2, this game has a lot of excellent traits to it that makes it well worth your time to explore. Welcome to the video. You're listening to Phil of Filbee Gaming, and today we're going back to the Old West in the year of 1907 and delving into the details of Red Dead Redemption. That is a game you must at least experience once. If you enjoy today's content, you all know what to do, and please be aware there will be spoilers ahead. With that being said, let's get into what we came here to see. Why you should in 2023, Red Dead Redemption. Let's start off with the story. John Marston is a former outlaw who ran with the Van der Lin's gang under the influence of their leader stroke mentor, Dutch. Being recruited from an early age after being rescued from a mob of homesteaders by Dutch himself, John would grow up with the gang, seeing them all as a family. Following the disastrous Blackwater ferry heist in 1899, this group of outlaws would slowly begin to disband over the course of the following months, one way or another. These are the events of Red Dead Redemption 2. John, with his future wife, Abigail Roberts, and their young son, Jack Marston, would settle in Beecher's Hope, hoping to live out a more honest life and leave their outlaw ways behind them. That is until Agent Edgar Ross and associates of the newly formed Bureau of Investigation had other ideas. Ross kidnaps John's wife and child and claims that they'll be released upon John's retrieval of the last surviving members of his old gang, Bill Williamson, Javier Escuela, and their leader, Dutch Van der Linde himself. The journey takes John across a fictional state in the southern United States and parts of northern Mexico, meeting an array of colourful characters in the process. Although the game is considerably smaller than the second installment, the characters that you meet are still very memorable. Bonnie McFarlane, who saves John's life at the beginning of the game, is a rancher's daughter whose family is struggling to make ends meet. The two become friends, although it's clear that Bonnie is searching for something more from John. Landon Ricketts, portrayed wonderfully by the late Ross Hagen, is a retired famous gunslinger who's trying to live out the remainder of his days in peace in northern Mexico. And Seth Briers, the grave-digging treasure hunter whom you can't help but love. These are just to name a few. Every character you come across during your travels feels very individual. This includes the stranger missions, which were a huge part of this game, such as the cannibal in the hills just outside of Armadillo, Billy West near Thieves Landing, and Jeb Blankenship, whose one true love has been snatched away from him. There are also many random encounters throughout the world, such as John chasing down thieves who've stolen from local stores, gang storming through towns on tirades, or local sheriffs who need John's assistance in either capturing escaped prisoners or disposing of their hideouts. On top of all these fresh faces, John can also meet some familiar ones returning from RDR2, such as Sister Calderon, Herbert Moon, and of course, the former Van der Linde gang. For a 2010 release, which was both on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, the graphics, for its time, were very impressive. The game used ragdoll physics, which was still relatively new at the time, and showcased a realistic day and night cycle, providing accurate shadowing respectively. The blades of grass and trees would move with the wind, and during rainfall, the player's screen would show droplets, giving you a more authentic feeling that you are part of this world. Even by today's standards, the waters of the rivers and lakes still look incredible. The lighting in areas is done accurately, especially in saloons where lamps and candles would illuminate specific areas more than the rest of the room, once again giving it more authenticity. To later gamers, small details such as this may seem trivial, but for the very early 2010s, these were a big step up from what we were used to. The character of John Marston seems much more relatable than he did in RDR2. When we experience him as the protagonist in 1911, he's a much stronger character than he was during his days with the gang, and even for a few years after. It may just be myself feeling this way, but in Red Dead Redemption 2, John's persona seems much more whiny and timid than the man we are introduced to in Red Dead Redemption. In the way he speaks in the first game, he just seems more educated and strong-minded. Let me show you a quick comparison of two scenes showing the difference.
Do you believe a man can change, sir?
Where is this heading?
Guess I don't know. I've tried to be a good hand. I've worked hard to secure your property.
And for that, we are grateful.
And you've paid me well besides. The thing is, I suppose, I need to get a place of my own, so I can prove to my wife that I've changed.
I understand.
But I ain't got much money. I ain't asking to borrow none. But maybe you could go to the bank and put in a good word so they could give me a loan?
A loan, huh?
So I can buy that place, Beecher's Hope?
Put them up!
Irish, what are you doing?
Who the hell are you?
Give me that. I'm your old friend Amnesia.
Oh, good blimey!
And I've come to tell you, if you ever pretend to forget my name or your debt to me again, I'll make sure you reach heaven before these two ladies. Now get down there!
Oh, Mr. Marston. How are you?
Ashamed. Ashamed to know you.
We also get to learn a little more about John's past, most of which in Red Dead Redemption 2 are only heard during camp interactions, which are easily missed by most. But aside from the story and characters of Red Dead Redemption, what else is there to do? Well, let's take a look into that. The clothing in the game is not as customizable as the second, but there's still a total of 20 plus outfits to choose from. Most will require an action to unlock, but this just gives you more incentive to explore the world of Red Dead Redemption. Also, there's a few of them which come with their own perks too, such as the Waltons or Ballard Twins gang outfits, which allows you to travel freely among them without the risk of being attacked. The Deadly Assassin outfit, which regenerates your Deadeye meter twice as fast, or the Elegant suit, which allows the player the opportunity to cheat at a game of poker. This plus many more. Speaking of poker, let's take a look at some of the activities you can enjoy during your time in the Old West. There are a few that crossed over into Red Dead Redemption 2, such as poker, blackjack, and five-finger fillet, but there are quite a lot of entertaining ones that for reasons unknown didn't make the cut. You could place a wager on yourself in arm wrestling, play a round of horseshoes, herd cattle, take a job as a night watchman, break in horses for local settlements, and my favourite, enjoy a game of liar's dice. Also, whilst in these local towns, you can either purchase or rent properties, which is sometimes much easier than riding out into the wilderness just to set up a camp. But if riding out to explore is your thing, there's two vastly different countries you can explore, both of which have their own unique setting, visuals, and culture. The story of Red Dead Redemption is very well played out, and the score that plays in the background is excellent. Even as you cross into different territories, the music alters to make the situation more fitting. Those who have completed Red Dead Redemption 2 will know of the fate of Arthur Morgan, as he didn't appear in 1911. Rockstar Games did this very well, having him become progressively more sick as the months went by. But one genius twist at the end of Red Dead Redemption, albeit very saddening, was to have John Marston killed off in such an unexpected and shocking manner, right towards the end of the game. The players fell in love with the character of John, and Rockstar knew this, so they introduced what most consider to be one of the greatest downloadable contents of all time, the Undead Nightmare DLC. In the Undead Nightmare, we once again take control of John back at Beecher's Hope, and this time the world has changed. Zombies have taken over both the United States and northern Mexico. John Marston must once again save his family, whom have all become infected with the unknown virus. This DLC tells a tale of its own, and although it's only a couple of hours in length, it's still incredibly entertaining. He gets not to only blast away the undead as he searches for both a cause and a cure, but he also meets all of his old friends once more, including Nigel West Dickens, Marshall Lee Johnson, and Yale professor Harold McDougall, plus many, many more. This extensive story once again takes Marston across the US to Mexico and back again as he discovers the cause of the outbreak. I could go on about this for a while, but I think it's something you should truly experience for yourselves. Although rumours of a remastered version have been circulating for years now, it seems that they have made a reprisal once more. Only recently, the Game Rating and Administration Committee of Korea posted a new rating on its website that seemingly confirmed a remake or remaster. On this post, the game was rated as NV-2306115-001, or just NV for short, which is a term used in Korea to determine that a game is to be released on console. To aid this speculation, during an episode of the Sacred Symbols podcast, Colin Moriarty, who was a former editor for IGN, claimed that he had received confirmation from a trusted source that the rumours of the remaster were in fact true, and it's apparently pretty far along in its development. According to data miner Test2, the idea of reinventing Red Dead Redemption was put on hold after the abomination that was Grand Theft Auto the trilogy. So I guess only time will tell as to whether we get an updated version. Personally, I'd just be happy if they released the original on PC. So in your opinion, do you think Red Dead Redemption is worth going back to in this day and age? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you wish to get in touch by other means, you can find me over on Instagram. That's at Filbee Gaming. Please show your support if it's all possible by becoming a Patreon to the channel, which you can find linked in the video description. Thank you all for watching. You've been listening to Phil, and I'll see you in the next one.